Well, Bristol City have been linked with quite a few players since the Alex Scott sale. Here's a roundup of the players we've been linked with, the profile of the players we've been linked with, and how, if they do come into the football club, would they fit into the current system we're deploying. Well, the most concrete link so far was George Thomason of Bolton. Supposedly a £1 million package deal had been sent into the League One side. They had been kind of contemplating it, but the player, George Thomason, has decided to stay at Bolton and not make the jump up to the Championship. Thomason is 21, didn't make a whole lot of starts last season for Wanderers in their playoff campaign, didn't even get an appearance in the second leg of their playoff defeat at Barnsley. This season, both league games, he started on the bench and come off it, and he started the League Cup game. He's kind of not really the type of profile I'd be looking at if we're shopping in League One. I'd be looking at someone who's a bit more established and performing quite consistently in League One. At the moment, Thomason isn't really doing that. He may do that in the future, but if it is true and we have moved on, good luck to him, because I think he will eventually be a really good player. Bolton fans seem to rate him. There is signs of him being kind of a scapegoat in the side when they don't do well. But generally, he seems like a young, talented player. So, no hard feelings from me. I think we should eventually move on. And I think we have probably moved on once the decision was made by the player that he wanted to stay. And to be honest, I have no real massive issues with it. £1 million, though, for a player who's not really made a concrete step in the division below, it's a lot of money for a project, if you are to say, and it shows that we are willing to spend that money, which is obviously brilliant, and we are ready to invest in other players and not just our academy for the future. The next concrete link is Adam Murphy from St Patrick's Athletic in the League of Ireland. He is only 18 years old, so again, we're kind of looking at a young player and really investing in the future, which is kind of the right profile and which we should be looking at, in my opinion. He made 21 appearances last season. In the Irish League, they only played 27 games, and he made 13 starts. He was kind of recovering from an injury, and previous to that, he had a trial at Manchester City. He was subject to interest from Premier League clubs, but his form has kind of derailed since the injury. But if he can recapture that and kind of make the step up to the Championship, which I think it probably is, if he needs a loan move to League One to really find his feet in English football, I think that's fine by me, because he's only 18 and he has got a lot of potential. I think we need to be giving time to him, if he does come in, that is. I don't expect this to be an absolutely astronomical fee either, and I think this generally makes pretty good sense for us. If this is a straight away going in, he will play in midfield, then he will probably be back up to Jamo or Williams and Jason Knight in there, who again is another player that was brought over from Ireland to Derby. So there are signs there, and hopefully if he's made just as much of an impact as Jason Knight has done in the first few games, I think we're in for a pretty good player again. Adam Murphy's not the only St Patrick's Athletic player we've been linked with. 17-year-old defender Sam Curtis has also been linked with Bristol City. Supposedly we hold an interest in him. I'm not sure about the fee, and to be honest, he looks like another really promising centre-back. But let's say the double deal does happen. I think Adam Murphy's probably the more likely player to come in and pretty much be in the squad straight away. Sam Curtis might be a longer-term player. He might need a couple of loan moves. And to be honest, I really like the way we're thinking here. We're not looking to sign players who are going to be expensive, for £3-4 million and really try and get them into the first squad and improve them straight away. We're looking to kind of branch that out with players for the future, the youth, which is not what we did in previous years. Once we sold Adam Webster, we brought a lot of players in who were going to go into the squad straight away, which kind of bloated our squad, and for the future we were kind of lacklustre and kind of relying on the academy. We can't always rely on the academy to produce, the Alex Scotts and the Tommy Conways and Sam Bells. That's not always going to happen. There are going to be lull periods, so it's also very important we kind of look elsewhere, and the League of Ireland, maybe Europe and like Belgium or the Netherlands, where there's been successful other championship clubs. we could look there and invest in youth and not necessarily put pressure on them to hit the ground running straight away. I think this is a really good strategy, and I think this is, again, going to be eventually a couple of really good signings if this does happen. Well, from two Irishmen to a Hungarian international, Bristol City have also been linked with Callum Styles of Barnsley. He spent the whole of last season on loan at Millwall last year, following Barnsley's relegation to League One. Eventually didn't get Millwall promoted and didn't make too many starts for the Lions, so Millwall opted against the option or the chance to sign him permanently, so he's been made available again by Barnsley this summer. Coventry and Bristol City are both said to be interested, mainly by Alan Nixon of the Sun. So this could potentially be a really, really good signing, but I'm not surprised Coventry are interested because they've just lost Gus Hamer. Cam Sars can play at left wing back, he can play in centre midfield. He was such a crucial part of that Barnsley's playoff side where they finished 5th on the Valérien Ismaël on the left hand side of the team at left wing back. Is absolutely outstanding and had real running power, and he also has that bit of technical magic in him. Barnsley have said to be putting a release clause in his contract of £2 million. Again, not sure how true those reports are, but if it's around £2 million, that's a good, really, really good deal because he's been successful before. He's played here recently, and I think he'll add real quality. And in a position where we need a few more reinforcements, I'd say at least one, maybe if not two. I'd say Callum Styles was a really, really good signing, and I think he'd fit our kind of system and the profile we're looking for in there really, really well. The last player I want to talk about is Max Bird. Now, there have been some murmurings from the Derby end that Bristol City have put a bid in. There's more concrete kind of rumours that Hull are very much interested in the midfielder, and I'm not surprised by that. Liam Rosini has worked with Max Bird at Derby before. Well, Bristol City, this kind of rumour came out right after the Alex Scott sale, and again, that might just be agents talking and whatnot and trying to push the boat out and trying to, make something out of nothing. But if rumours are to be believed, this is the thing with all the rumours I've just talked about, if rumours are to be believed, then we've supposedly put a bid in. Again, I'm not sure, and I don't think we have, but if we have, then Max Bird, really good profile. Very, very different player to Jason Knight, who we also signed from Derby. He's not as much of a runner, but he's an absolutely brilliant 6 and will put a few challenges in. And supposedly from Derby fans, give him a shot outside the box and he will score most of the time. So goals from midfield, there we go. There's another player we can stick in there and kind of just make things happen in terms of goal scoring opportunities. He will be a 6, he will be a defensive midfielder. What that means for Matty James if Max Bird comes in, I'm not so sure, because if we're dropping a couple of million on him, then he'll probably want to start. Well, we have now supposedly, got that Alex Scott money, and some of it has been made available to Nigel Pearson because, frankly, we wouldn't have been linked with some of these players if we hadn't. So I think that some of the concern has been eradicated in that matter. But some of the players we've been also linked to that I haven't mentioned in this video are just ludicrous and just not going to happen. And agents are probably trying to make something out of nothing in that kind of scenario. So I'm not going to name anyone, but just generally, I wouldn't believe all the rumours that are going on Twitter. So look, generally, if we get a couple of midfielders in, maybe a centre back and maybe a forward, I'd be relatively happy. But with so little time left in the window, I'd say 3 weeks left, it's going to be tough for Bristol City to make all those signings. And to be honest, if a midfielder comes in and maybe a forward or a centre back comes in, I'd be reasonably happy with how that Alex Scott money has supposedly been reinvested. So, well, those are the sort of players Bristol City are kind of looking at. What are your thoughts on the profile of players? I'd say young, dynamic, and just room for improvement. It's probably the way to go in this transfer market with some of the overinflated fees we've seen up in the Premier League as well. Some ridiculous transfer fees going around. So I think it's sensible and smart that Bristol City are looking to invest for some of them now, some in the future. I'd say it's a good balance and a good mix. And adding on to the fact that we've already signed 4, reasonably ready to go players, I think that's a good start and a good way to reinvest that Alex Scott money. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below in terms of the profile of players. let me know those players I've just talked about and what your thoughts on them. If you're a fan of those clubs, let me know your detailed thoughts on them and their expertise, which clearly you know more than me about your players. So yeah, let me know in the comment section below. Hit like if you haven't already, and also subscribe to the H Stock YouTube channel for more Bristol City content in the future. Birmingham at home next. Match preview and matchday vlog will be out for that one.